Hi, and welcome to Kaleidoscope. I'm your host, Rachel Elliott. Today in the studio we have with us Donnie Fiegle.
Hey guys.
Welcome to the show, Donnie.
Thank you, Rachel.
Welcome to the other side of the camera.
Yeah, this is kind of weird. I'm always on the other side of this thing, so.
Well, tell our viewers what it is you do on the other side of the camera.
Well, on the other side of the camera, Rachel and viewers, I pretty much do the video editing, camera work, and all of that for the cable company. Actually, how I got started doing video was I worked for Lewis Jones for, I think I started in 1993, and kind of went on, off and on to Channel 16. Actually, let me back up to where, kind of make that a little more sense. I was going to North Highland at the time, same time I was going to working at Lewis Jones, and met up with a friend of mine. His name was Greg Conkle. Okay. And I found out he worked there at Channel 16 as production manager. Mm-hmm. And so I got on with him and did that for about 4.5 years. And during that time, you learn pretty much everything there is about the station, from cameras to directing, everything. So did that off and on. And finally, about 4.5 years, I actually got hired on with them. Then continued on about 2 more years, then went to Lansing, Michigan, into a kind of like a discipleship type of course. Well, they found out that I knew how to do video work and stuff, so I did a lot of the special videos for the youth group. Okay. The youth group ran about 500, so.
Oh, just 500?
Yeah, just 500.
I mean, you know.
Yeah, just a little small amount.
So there was quite a large amount of video production work that you had to do with 500 in that group. Okay.
Yeah, we actually would go into East Lansing each, like every month or so, and whoever they were speaking on at the time was whatever question we did. So it's kind of like a journalistic, yet on a fun way to do it.
Okay, well, tell us, or tell the viewers actually, what kind of mediums you work in outside of your television production work.
Like in
photography, do you paint, draw?
I'll do a little bit. Actually, when I was in school, in elementary school, I used to do a little bit of more drawing than probably what the teachers really wanted me to do. But did a lot of pencil drawing. Not much into painting. Try to get into that later on, but my favorite medium, which I know you like, is pen and ink.
Oh yeah,
love pen and ink. Actually, I'll show one picture I did of a friend's baby. They just had like maybe 2 years ago, and actually I was really pleased, and I guess they liked it. So, but I'll dabble with that. Photography, which we'll get into more in the present day. Actually, I got into photography, so I would have something original to work with. I love landscape photography. Yeah. And so I kind of like that. In high school, I did a pen and ink drawing, and the teacher entered in first place, actually in the fair.
Yeah.
I got 3rd place. And she said the only reason why I did not get first place, it was based off an original.
Oh, okay.
Otherwise, it would have been a first place.
It wasn't your original composition.
Right.
It was a kind of a copy.
Right.
Me personally, I like the precision of pen and ink. Is that what you like about it? Or?
Yeah.
It's not forgiving at all. You make a mistake, you start over.
Yeah, actually, I was kind of surprised of the place I did get in the art contest, because there were so many mistakes that I knew about, and I mean, that's a real honor and real, to find out that I could have won that first place with something like that.
Yeah. Well, you're bold just to do pen and ink, and to do pen and ink and do your own composition is a totally different thing.
Yeah, I learned that I don't like to do things easy. I'll just go and start into something hard.
That's how I am, yeah. Well, going back further, give us some biographical information on a personal level, your family, your education, you know, what it was like growing up? Have you always been interested in art, that sort of thing?
Honestly, when I was in high school, it was, I guess, kind of a means to pass time, because I'm very ADD, like kind of spastic here and there. And so mainly just pass the time. Used to, when I was a kid, used to draw a lot of the characters in the Sunday paper.
Yeah. Yeah, just to see if you could copy it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And so my sister, very good artist, very casual artist, but very good. And she actually has a few art pieces hung up in her house where she's done a lot more paintings. She loves doing more or less pencil drawings. Very good renditions of her son, her daughter that passed away.
Oh.
So very good stuff.
Were your parents?
My mom, she can draw, but she tends not to do it. But me and my sister is more of the artistic part of the family.
Well, I mean, if you're kind of hyper,
Oh, yeah.
you probably always are doodling. You have to be engaged constantly.
Oh yeah.
So that's part of it, I
Yeah.
think.
Yeah, I think that has something to do with why I like landscape art, is because I love doing things in the outdoors, love hiking, camping, and stuff like that. So kind of gives me a sense of like being, I love the beauty of color, which is kind of funny why I like pen and ink so much is it's far from that kind of spectrum.
Yeah.
But I do love color. I love just vibrant colors.
Have you considered working with any of the Color India inks that are out?
Actually, the bird painting I did in high school was a lot to do with color, because I found they actually had different pigments for it in the ink that I was using. But I've looked at some stuff, but mainly it's been just black and white thus far.
Yeah, but you love color, and you're in black and white, so that's interesting. Well, maybe you just want to see life in a different way.
Also, I think also it has something to do with your mood too.
Yeah,
because
I can see that. Yeah.
Sometimes when I take photographs, it will be in black and white, but it also has something to do with how I feel, how the area strikes me. Okay.
Yeah, the environment, the atmosphere, just what it's like that day when you go for a shoot. Now, where did you go to school?
I went to Central.
Okay.
Central High School.
So you're a local guy?
We're local. Graduated in 1990.
Okay, yeah, me too.
What school did you go to?
Christian Heritage Academy.
Okay. But yeah, I went there and then just directly went to work right after I graduated. Really went in thinking about doing college or anything like that. It was just went in my mind at that time. Though later, when I went up to Michigan, that's actually when I did more college.
Well, sometimes we artists tend to take a different road.
Oh yeah.
You know, we're just kind of floating along and seeing where life takes us.
Yeah, yeah. It's kind of funny. It's like my fiance Isabel. She's more left brain, and I'm more right brain. And so she's more into the thinking part, which in the right brain, the creative part of the brain, it's okay. Let's just go in, do it.
Yeah.
Just jump right into it.
Well, they say opposites attract.
That's true.
We'll be right back after these messages. And welcome back to Kaleidoscope. I'm your host, Rachel Elliott. Here in the studio with us this week is Donnie Fiegle from the other side of the camera here at East Alabama Television.
Right.
Well, Donnie, on this segment, I'd like to talk to you about your photography and what you're doing currently. And you brought some photos to share with us.
Yes, that's right below right Eagle Phoenix Dam where they blew it a couple of months ago. And so now they've got it all cleared and stuff. And so I thought that was a very interesting viewpoint from, getting the river and including the city.
Right. And you like to do a lot of landscape photography anyway.
Yes.
And with the river, nothing's ever the same from one day to the next.
No, especially when they raise the levels of the water, the scenery changes.
Right.
And so once you have like kind of a settled river, then in the afternoons, well, you get like Class 5 rapids, which is a lot of action. I love action in nature photography. Then
we have a color photo.
Yes, that's the Synovus building. Person over here fishing, and again, that's in the afternoon when they've got the water released. The reason why I like going down to the river to photograph is because, like I said, there's different scenery on the time of day you go, and the place you go. Like further up in the river it's a little bit not as aggressive as what this looks, but you have more wildlife photograph and some more historical mills in the background. I think I can show a picture of that, but there's a lot of areas to practice on.
Yeah, well, I like the variety of things that are going on in this picture. I mean, you've got industry, you've got the new with the old, you've got, water that's calm enough that someone can fish in it, and then you've got these rapids here in the foreground. Yeah. And I like how you played the different elements against one another. Yeah, and also it's really like cool.
When I told you in the first segment where I like a lot of color.
Right.
Well, you definitely have a lot of color in this, but you also have a lot of texture.
Texture and some wildlife.
Correct.
You've got your rocks and some plant growth there. That's really awesome. I like that. I think that may be my favorite.
Then, when I told you I like sometimes black and white, yes, it has a lot to do with my mood, but also has a lot to do with what's going on in that day. If it's cloudy or not, then it really goes into the factor of how I take the photograph. Then it really depends.
Now, do you have any trade secrets that you'd actually like to share? What kind of processing do you do? I mean, do you go into a dark room? Do you?
Actually, all this is digital format, digital photography. The reason why I went digital photography is because film, one, is becoming a lot more expensive to work with. And with digital, there's a quicker learning curve where it's a lot easier to see your mistakes and where to adjust.
Yes.
And I do like working with the post-processing, which I don't like to do because what I see is what I want to show on the photograph. I don't like to do a lot of editing on them.
Okay, so you don't have a computer software that you use
I actually do because to learn this, I'm new and I've been doing this for at least a year solid. And so, I mean, there's certain technical aspects you have to learn, like ISO, which is like in film you have 100, 200, 400, and so on. And so each, the ISO, aperture, and shutter speed all have to do with how the camera captures light.
Okay.
And so it kind of, you have to learn how each one correlates with each other.
Okay. So you have to strike a balance.
Right. And so in post-production, which I'll do, which is also, I'll shoot in RAW format. RAW format, you have what I've learned in reading is you have more of a broader, more information to work with in editing a photograph, where in like a JPEG, it's you don't have much as you do in a RAW format. And so you have little, like if you have a dark image or whatever, if you get too dark, then you can't bring out the detail. Where in RAW, you have more freedom and you can most likely rescue that. Hence why I use software.
Well, do you work any with panoramic?
I do, and I'll show you that one.
Okay, I want to see it. As a matter
Actually,
of fact,
it's not in this one, but it's I'll have to show it on the screen. But about the closest
about each one
as
of these.
I got as panoramic is that one.
Okay, I love this.
I took that in
Love it.
North Georgia last year around October. We went to Mercer Apple Orchard.
Okay.
And we were actually just on the lookout for mountains and stuff, and kind of just going through the mountain roads that came up excuse me, on this.
That.
And I was like, I've always wanted a picture of a field. Well, this presented itself.
That's just perfect.
Now, when you asked me about video or photo editing software, this is the only time I made an exception.
Okay.
Because across this, the skyline is what used to be power lines.
Oh.
And so I actually just edited it out.
Aren't you clever? Okay. Yeah, a lot of times I want to take a picture in a field or of beautiful, just area with trees and power lines.
Yeah.
And I just kind of go, never mind, and I just keep driving. But I didn't know you could do that with that software.
I actually edited that one in Adobe Photoshop.
Adobe Photoshop.
So there are exceptions to the rule. I just don't like doing it all the time.
I love that. And I want you to talk about each one of these.
Okay. And then
I love
this one I got late in the evening on CB&T's in Columbus, their parking garage.
Wow.
And I captured this one because of the texture in the buildings, and of course, the color spectrum in it.
And I like the time of day you did it. You've got some natural light accenting some areas, and then you've got some of the lights that come on in the evening. So that was brilliantly done. I love that. I love old churches.
Oh yeah, especially with the cobblestone tops and.
Now we have
some
construction and industry here.
Yeah, they're actually working on the Georgia side for the whitewater landscape and whatever. I'm not really sure.
Okay.
But that's actually right after some heavy rain that was during the week, and so the water was up.
So this is very yellow. You didn't do that.
No, this is actually the color of the water.
That's just wild. It must have been the time of day.
That was about
lunchtime?
Yes, about lunchtime.
I figured the sun had to be pretty much right on it.
Yeah.
Oh, and this is not around here, is it?
That's actually out between LaGrange and Pine Mountain.
Okay.
I believe it was on Highway 27 maybe, or 16, I can't remember.
I've never seen this. In my years as a Harris County resident, I've never seen this. I love the millstones.
Oh yeah.
So I'm assuming this is an old grist mill?
I believe so. And actually in the back, you can't see it, and I actually took a photograph, but I didn't like how it turned out, is a waterfall in the back.
Oh, and a water wheel?
Yes, that's actually a water wheel, right? Over here.
Oh, wow. Yeah, because I see the viaduct there for it. Wow.
That's one of my favorites.
Yeah, that's great. And I see a modern bridge or some modern structure, concrete over here.
Yeah, that's a bridge. Actually, we actually stopped there in the middle of the bridge and backed up.
Yeah, I'm surprised you didn't crop it out of here.
Yeah.
Yeah, get that out of here. Oh, and you do some plant photography too?
Yes, and actually that was playing around because I learned something of having an iPhone. That was taken with an iPhone.
Oh, really? That's great Great clarity.
Yeah, that was in front of Hobby Lobby.
Yeah, well, I mean, you know, I love the play of the purple and the green. It's their opposites on the color wheel.
But yeah, I like that photo. It's definitely a lot of color.
Is that a coleus?
I'm not sure what that is.
I think it's a coleus. You've got some petunias in the background. I like that. I love the colors.
Okay, another black and white. It's probably a little bit small for the camera to see, but I took that during the weekend of my birthday. Finally got me a digital SLR camera for the first time. And so, perfect weekend to go and play with it, see what it would do.
Well, that's kind of got an Ansel Adams feel to it.
Yeah.
That what you were going for, or you were hoping
kind of,
for?
because remember when I told you when different areas kind of made me think of if black and white was suited, then that's one of the pictures.
Well, yeah, because it looks almost, I don't know, barren, ominous. Yeah, and the sky was just right for that too. Yeah, that's a great black and white moment. I like that. Ah, and now everybody loves lighthouses.
I'm going to give you a little story on that.
Okay, please do.
When that was taken in Fort Pickens, Florida, right outside of Pensacola.
Okay.
We actually had to climb up all the way up to right where the candle used to be. There used to be a candle, a kerosene candle that they would use to send out a beam of light. They said that beam of light would go out 23 miles. Okay?
23 miles.
They upgraded it, and it's actually now watched and observed if the light ever goes out by the Coast Guard.
Right.
They upgraded it, and I can't tell you exactly when, but up to a regular light bulb. You know, it only projects only 3 miles past what it used to. So it's amazing.
I think they had better technology in some ways.
Oh yeah.
In the 19th century. I'm assuming this is a 19th century lighthouse. And there's a historic looking home attached to it.
That's actually like where you go in to pay admission and stuff.
Oh, okay. So this is
like a gift.
This is on the register. Okay. Wow. I love the tree. You've got the green and you've got the blue and the white. Good contrast there with the black on the lighthouse. I love that. My father loved lighthouses. Oh, and this one, I saw this one on Facebook.
Oh, yeah.
I love this one.
Yeah, this is, again, down in Pensacola.
That's amazing. And you did not do anything to this?
Nothing.
To get this coloration?
Yeah, it's...
that's fabulous.
Yeah, actually, I posted that in a UK magazine on their website. And they actually contacted me wanting to put this photograph in their magazine.
Yeah.
And so that was an honor to hear that.
Wow. Well, they're a seafaring nation. They would appreciate good photography like this.
Oh, yeah.
This looks like some of the photos I've seen in Cornwall, in England, on the coast there. That's beautiful.
Yeah, I got a fondness for boats and out the ocean. So I actually saw that same boat during the day, but during the day you don't have. It doesn't bring out the contrast and things that the time of day would. And I was like, well, what will give it more of an atmosphere, more of, say more. And I was like, you know what? I can go there next morning, and do it.
So you're out there at what time?
Actually, that's probably about 6 o'clock in the morning.
Wow.
I was scared I was going to miss it, and luckily I didn't.
Yeah, that's great. And again, with your SLR? Okay.
Yeah, I actually started doing photography with just a point and shoot camera. And I've always read and I have learned that any camera that you carry with you, use it, because it doesn't matter the quality, it's the moment that you capture.
That's awesome. Speaking of moments, we've got a break for commercial. We'll be back with more Kaleidoscope after these messages.
Hello, my name is Stephen Gregg and I'm the pastor of Trinity United Methodist Church. I'd love for you to tune in to a daily broadcast called Pastor's Pulse Point. It's a devotional moment that lasts about 10 minutes, a great way to start your day in God's Word. It's on Channel 7 at 8 and 9 o'clock in the morning. Tune in.
And welcome back to Kaleidoscope. I'm Donnie, and this is Rachel.
Hi, Donnie.
Hey, Rachel.
It's nice to see you again.
You as well.
Since that long commercial break.
Yeah, 2 minutes. Actually, it's not 2 minutes at all.
Well, welcome to the other side of the camera.
Thank you.
Now, tell us about this picture. We missed this earlier, and this is one of your black and white shots.
This is one of the black and white shots. Back here, of course, if you're from around here, you know these are the old city mills. I believe one or both of these are being remodeled or have been remodeled to apartments. Down here you can see the construction workers working on the whitewater course.
Okay.
During that time they're still working on, I think, the Georgia side on the wave shaper. But that's pretty much what's going on this photo. It was also a cloudy day.
Yeah.
So,
I mean, the sky just looks blank. It's very light.
Yeah, my technique, if you can't see detail or it washes out the photo, then go black and white.
Go black and white.
At least that's my own technique for it.
Yeah, so you can get some contrast.
Right.
Right. I understand. That makes perfect sense. And this one?
This one was taken during the weekend, since I just allot that my time in the morning just to be outside and just kind of enjoy nature a little bit.
I see the lights on the bridge. Is that 13th Street Bridge? They haven't gone out completely, so that's still pretty early in the morning.
Yeah, that's about between 6 and 7 in the morning.
Mm-hmm. I love that river.
Yeah,
I mean, it's totally different in North Georgia where it begins up around Helen.
Yeah, I think my love for that river goes back to growing up in the area. Only maybe a mile up. We used to go as kids fishing down there all the time, and so there's a lot of memories on that river.
Yeah, I remember going to Goat Rock Dam and fishing as a child.
Yeah,
and it just seems so huge. You go out there now, and it's like, oh, what's the big deal?
Yeah, it's kind of funny. Right up, there's a couple pictures I've taken in Helen, Georgia.
Yeah,
beautiful town. And to see what the Chattahoochee looks like here than what it looks like in Helen.
Stark contrast.
Stark. It's amazing that the Chattahoochee starts off as a little stream, then opens up.
And clear as a bell. You can see the trout in it.
Which I would love to do some trout fishing one day up there.
Yeah, well, you can. I see people just standing in the middle of the river trout fishing, and people go by tubing, which I guess that may mess you up as far as fishing is concerned. I don't know. But then you come down here and it's churning and it's cloudy and I mean it has a beauty all of its own.
Yeah, I know a lot of people tend not to like them tearing down the dams, but I know this kind of almost sounds like an advocate for what they're doing, which I am. Because one, the dams are historic.
Yeah.
And they serve their purpose. But you think going down, the further and further and older they get, then that can cause a liability.
Yeah. And we're not a mill town anymore, and you've got to go with the times.
Right. And you're actually going back toward what the river originally was.
Right. Exactly. Without the dams.
But I definitely have a love for that river.
I remember one time there was a drought, and I was actually able to walk onto the riverbed. There was no water whatsoever in that part of the river. That was really interesting. I found some really cool stuff.
Oh, yeah. There's definitely a lot of history in there, in that river.
So tell our viewers, are you for hire as a photographer for commissions, or would you consider any kind of event photography? Do you do portrait photography? I mean, tell them what you have to offer and what you would.
Right now, I am more into doing landscape. Don't particularly do portrait photography as of yet, because I haven't really looked in that avenue yet. Just because I just like being.
Well, you're really good. You may want to think about it.
I'll definitely give it some thought.
You've got the artist eye. So
I
you've got to have that when you set up those shots and create the compositions.
Yeah.
You know.
But if anybody out there is interested in buying anything, you can actually go to 2 different websites. One, the most famous, Facebook.
Yeah.
You just do a search for Donnie's Art, and it should come up in Facebook, or I believe it's www.facebook.com/Donnie's Art.
Donnie's Art, DONNIE.
Yes.
Okay.
Or you can email me at www.donniesart@gmail.com.
Okay.
I also have an online gallery at fineartamerica.com.
Okay.
And they'll just, these way I can say find the photographs, which is not a whole lot right now. Just I'm trying to build up the collection.
Quality over quantity, and what you've shown me has been quality. So
Yes.
they can go online and order your prints.
And just when you're on Fine Art America, then you can just type in Donnie Fiegle, Fiegle, and it should take you right to the gallery.
Okay. Now, what are your plans for the future with your art?
Pretty much to learn as much as I can and just see where it takes me. You know, there are different cameras that produce a lot better quality for larger format. Been thinking about that, just not sure if that's the avenue yet that I want to take with it. But you know, if it goes somewhere, it does. If it doesn't, that's fine as well. Right now, I'm just want to enjoy the art for what it is.
Just enjoy it. Yeah. Any words of wisdom for anyone starting out in photography? Because you've only been doing this about a year.
Right.
Although you have a somewhat of an art background.
Right. Again, just whatever you have, your iPhone, camera phone, whatever instrument that you have to take pictures, use it. There's an old saying, the best camera is the one you always have with you.
I haven't heard that.
That's actually
true.
That's actually was spoken by another professional photographer.
Okay.
And that's true. I mean, it doesn't matter of the quality of camera. It's, again, capturing the moment.
Okay. Yeah. That makes good sense. I always have my phone with me, so.
And definitely do a lot of reading. If you really want to get into photography, read on it, because that's definitely a help.
And just get out there and take pictures. I think everybody kind of finds their own rhythm and their own method, what they like.
Yeah.
You know what you like now that
Right.
you've experimented with different things.
Yeah, and there's no specific guideline or rule to it.
Right.
You know, yes, there are certain things to help you, but, you know, it's
art.
guidelines.
It's art. It's relative.
Yeah.
It's what you like to do.
Yeah. And, you know, it would be nature, landscape, you know, portraits, pets, whatever. You know, the spectrum's, you know, wide open.
I can't imagine being a pet photographer.
No.
That's just, they would have to be asleep. I mean, really.
Yeah, I've tried to photograph my dogs many a time, and one just doesn't like the camera, and the other one just lays there. Well, she's easy, but.
Yeah, well, I have a cat that, she's so beautiful, this long-haired calico cat. She's so beautiful. And as soon as I get my camera and I walk over to take a picture, she gets up and comes to me. So the moment's gone. So I'm like you. I mean, I kind of like what you don't have to manipulate, you know, you just kind of go with what's there.
And also, the way I guess I look at it is, you know, you have to, if you photograph people or if they're in your picture, then if you want to sell it, then you have to have permission and all that. Where, you know, landscape, well, it's just there.
It's just there. Anybody can photograph it. Yeah, well, you really should, I think, do well with selling your prints online, especially to our locals who have an interest in the history of this. Especially, you've got photographs at different stages of the dam's destruction and the whitewater construction.
And again, you know, you capture. I said, you know, you capture things in a moment. You know, and it's also a way, and I like photographing old buildings just because, you know, it captures the history.
Yeah.
And, you know, in time, you know, these buildings and stuff, you know, they'll vanish, they'll decay or whatever, but it's a way to preserve that and the memory of it.
Right. Yeah, I agree. Absolutely. Posterity's sake.
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thank you for
Rachel,
coming on the other side of the camera, and I know you'll have fun editing this one because you're in it.
Yeah, because, well, then I'm on the other side.
You're your own worst critic, though.
That's true.
That's what I have to say to you about that.
Oh, definitely.
So tell everybody again how they can order your prints or contact you or look at your work. Okay. Again, you can go on to Facebook. That's Donnie's Art. And also on Fine Art America, you can type in Donnie Fiegle. That's DonnieFiegle. And also on Facebook, I'll announce whenever it happens. I'm in talks with another artist here on displaying my stuff up in their gallery. Okay, great. I wish you the best with that. Well, thank you. That's awesome. You're very talented. Well, thank you. And thanks again for coming on Kaleidoscope. That's it for this week's Kaleidoscope. Join us next week. I'm your host, Rachel Elliott. Bye-bye.